Hey guys, so tonight I made shrimp stuffed salmon with a creamy sauce on top, garlic mashed potatoes, fresh string beans, and corn. Here's how the plate turned out. Alright, so let's get started. First, I'm grabbing a medium-sized yucca. You're going to see me peel that. I do wish I skipped ahead a little bit, only because this took a second to peel. Then you're going to see me grab potato. I peeled that as well. I did 3 to 4 potatoes. You're only going to see me peel one. And yes, I sped this part up a little bit only because nobody needs to see me peel potatoes in real time. Again, it took a minute. And if you have a larger size family, you can still use 3 to 4 potatoes along with the yucca. It does make a lot. You're going to have leftovers, I promise you. After everything is peeled, I go ahead and cut the potatoes, dice up the yucca. Now, for those of you who don't know, yucca is a root, so it is a little tougher. I did have to switch knives when it came to that part. But it makes my mashed potatoes so thick and cozy. I promise you guys, just try one yucca in your mashed potatoes next time you make them. Game changer. Then we're going to move over to the stove. My water is already boiling. I started that before peeling my potatoes and yucca. You're going to see me seasoning the water with salt, garlic powder, onion powder, and a little chicken bouillon. You can season heavy. It takes a lot of seasoning to really penetrate the potatoes and yucca. And you guys are going to have this boiling on high until I want to say, until you're done with your salmon. And yucca cooks like sweet potatoes. The longer you cook them, the less stringy they'll be. Now you're going to see me with the salmon. I'm cutting it into medium-sized squares. Even though you don't see it on camera, I slid the knife right down the middle to make me a little pocket. We're basically making tiny salmon pillows. Now, some people do slice the salmon on the side to make their self salmon, but I did not have that type of salmon to cut on the side. I forgot what type of salmon this was. I'll put it in the description box below. Now we're going to move on to the shrimp. These are already peeled and deveined off camera. A little fun fact, everybody does the devein on top. There is also a vein on the bottom. You're going to dice them up, not too big, not too small, just a nice bite size. I didn't season them heavy because the filling gets seasoned later once the cream cheese goes in. I do keep 8 whole shrimp to put on top later just to make it look pretty. And I cook the diced shrimp until they're done, not overcooked. We are putting them in the oven. And I season with a little Old Bay and a little garlic powder. Don't go too heavy on the Old Bay. Later you'll see why. Now, a lot of people OG seasonings are just the original salt, pepper, and garlic. Mine, salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder. Sometimes I do skip out on the salt. I did say in another video, I'm not the biggest salt fan. And you're just going to keep seeing me move the shrimp around, making sure it doesn't overcook, flipping the other whole pieces. And guys, don't forget to taste as you go. When I first started cooking, that was my biggest problem. I would forget to taste as I went. And if the seasoning is not up to your liking, you can always add in what you want. You don't have to go strictly off of my seasonings. And then you're just going to see me scoop the shrimp up. Again, if it's not fully cooked, that's fine. You're adding it into the oven. You're going to keep the same pan. The pan that you cook your shrimp in is going to be the same pan you're going to cook your salmon in. And also the same pan you're going to cook your spinach in. Then you're going to see me toss in some spinach. You can add the whole bag if you want. Spinach cooks down to nothing. So like if you're doing a spinach dip, use the whole bag. It's not going to be anything. And you're just going to let that saute down. It doesn't take that long for it to saute. Just keep mixing it. And spinach holds a lot of water. You're going to see me add it to the same bowl I added the shrimp in. And then we're going to move on to our seasonings. Again, one of my favorites, onion powder, black pepper, Tony's. It wasn't original Tony's I used. It was the more spiced Tony's. Be careful with your Tony's. Tony's is salty. You're going to use smoked paprika, a couple of tablespoons of minced garlic, Parmesan cheese. You can go heavy on your cheese. I am a cheese lover. And then you're going to do Italian seasoning. I had Italian seasoning blend. And then you're going to add your softened cream cheese. Make sure it's softened. It makes it so much easier to mix. And if you want to add mozzarella to this recipe, you can. You can actually add any cheese to this recipe, but make sure one of your bases is Parmesan cheese. And you're just going to see me mix this all up together. And you're just going to keep mixing and mixing and mixing until it's all combined. You want to make sure it's well combined, honestly. By the way, if you guys have any voiceover and editing tips, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'm still figuring out my style. And honestly, this year has flown by so fast. Everything just feels like a blur. I started my cooking channel, which then I decided I didn't want it to be fully cooking. I wanted to really show my personality. Then I'm still taking college classes. It's just been a lot this year, honestly. Last year it was a lot as well, but this year, I don't know, just flew by. You're going to see me stuff the salmon with our mixture. You're going to see the little pockets I created. They're not the prettiest, but I promise you this meal tasted so good. But you are going to take your time with this part only because the way I cut, I got to put the what type of salmon this was in the description box. But you like I took the sides of the salmon and made a little wall just so my mixture wouldn't ooze out, which it didn't. I put enough cheese, thankfully. You don't have to add any breadcrumbs to that mixture at all. I know a lot of people do add breadcrumbs as a binder, but for this mixture, you don't have to add any. And you can stuff the salmon as much as you want. Again, it's your food. I'm just here giving you some ideas. Okay, back to our cast iron skillet. The same one that we cooked the shrimp in, the same one that we cooked the spinach in. You're going to add a little oil and butter, just enough to coat the bottom of your pan. Then you're going to lay down your salmon. They could be close together. It doesn't matter. It was 8 pieces, so they were pretty close together. They are going to shrink in the oven. And then you're just going to cook them until they get a little crisp at the bottom. You're going to set your oven to 375 to finish cooking them. And then once you put those in the oven, you're going to head over and check on your potatoes and your yucca. Stick a fork in them to make sure they are fork tender. Mine were. Again, you want to cook them high. If you see the fire in the video, it's on high. Off camera, I did drain the potatoes in yucca, added them to a separate bowl. I did not put them back in the pot. Then you're going to see me scoop 2 scoops of butter, add a bunch of rosemary seasoning, again, season heavy, black truffle sea salt, black pepper, and I really wanted to keep it basic with the mashed potatoes and yucca when it came to the seasoning. You're also going to see me add some garlic. I then started mashing them, mixing and mashing again. It's a lot of mixing to this recipe. But once I got them all mashed together, I added a little heavy cream, maybe about a cup and a, I think was a half a cup of heavy cream. Just add whatever feels right. And if you're lactose, you can use vegan cream cheese. And you can use, what I say, almond milk. Huh. I would say oat milk. You could add oat milk. And it's going to take a lot of work to mash and heat. A lot of people use mixers for their mashed potatoes so they don't have to go through what I'm going through in this video. But I did not feel like cleaning my mixer, honestly. I'd be feeling like it's too many parts to clean. Now, you guys remember in the beginning of the video, I said 3 to 4 potatoes and 1 medium-sized yucca. Look at all those mashed potatoes. Like, promise you, it's feeding your family. Then we're gonna have our string beans. This is a different cast iron, not the same one. You want your string beans fresh, cleaned. And for my seasoning, I just used one seasoning, Kinder's vegetable seasoning. I love that seasoning. I didn't want to season my string beans too much, only because I knew the seasoning for the salmon, just in case one was overpowering. You didn't. I don't. If I have like this main, I don't know what I want to say. Okay, like let's say if I'm cooking salmon, chicken, I have all these sides. I don't season my vegetables all too heavy. I love my vegetables. I love their natural taste. But I don't want everything to be heavily seasoned, if that makes sense to you guys. I need something to like, mm, okay, let's say you go out to dinner and you have all these courses, and between each course, they give you something to cleanse your palate. Oh, and then you're going to see me make the sauce. I'm over here talking about that. You're going to see me make the sauce. I added some of the heavy cream, garlic, parm, and you're going to see me add some lemon pepper. And that was the salmon once you take it out of the oven. You're going to see me add on the sauce to the top, and you see that's why I said keep 8 whole shrimp. Each piece of salmon got its own shrimp on top. Okay guys, that was dinner. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and let me know in the comments what to do next.